Good morning. This meeting of the Agricultural Labor Relations Board is called to order. Before we get started, even if you can hear me, please make a point to go to the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen and select your preferred language, either English or Spanish. This will ensure you have good audio quality throughout the meeting. I'll now pause to let that message be relayed in Spanish.
Buenos días y gracias por acompañarnos hoy en nuestra junta. Tenemos hoy servicio de interpretación a español. Por favor, si gusta escuchar nuestra junta en español, vea hacia el abajo de su pantalla en donde se encuentra el glóbulo de interpretación y elija español. Aunque quiera escuchar en inglés, por favor haga la elección ya que le va a dar el proceso para escuchar. Gracias.
Thank you, Santiago. I will now call the roll. Board Member Broad?
Here.
Board Member Flores?
Present.
Board Member Hall? I think it's still trying to... Okay. Okay, we are, we'll work on the technical side to get Board Member Hall connected. Board Member Lightstone?
Here.
Great. Our first agenda item is to approve the draft meeting minutes from our last meeting on May 17th. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We will now go on to the chair report. I'd like to note we have a NARE report. Okay. And I let the record show that Board Member Hall has joined the meeting. Good to see you, Board Member Hall. Okay.
Good morning.
We have two items. One, I am recommending to the board an amendment to our delegation agreement with the General Counsel as part of AB 113, the board, which is the cleanup bill making changes to AB 2183 from last year, which made significant changes to the Agricultural Labor Relations Act. AB 113 changes our election procedures and also adds a new majority petition process for employees under the conditions as specified in certain circumstances to petition for a particular union to represent them, to advocate for their working conditions, and as well as it makes changes to the requirements if you wish to appeal a board, if employers wish to appeal a board decision to the Court of Appeal, they have to post a bond as specified. The provisions regarding the majority petition require that upon receipt of such petition, the board shall investigate, and we are recommending that we amend our delegation agreement to formally delegate that investigative authority to the General Counsel and, well, to the regional directors on behalf of the board. And I will turn it over to our Chief Board Counsel, Todd Ratchin, to see if he has any other comments on that process.
No, I don't have anything further to add.
Okay. This is analogous to, I believe, the authority that the regional directors currently have to investigate petitions for certification. So it's just extending that delegation authority. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this amendment to our delegation agreement.
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Hall. All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes, and that amendment will be made to our delegation agreement. And then I just want to acknowledge my colleague, Board Member Broad, for his efforts here at the local level. We've had, unfortunately, as many across the country have seen, an increase in variety of hate crimes, including anti-Semitism, including, unfortunately, here at our Sacramento City Council, and Board Member Broad and a coalition of other groups and members of the public took action last night to stand against this anti-Semitic hate and share that while people can express different viewpoints in the public square, it is not okay to advocate for hate simply based on someone's religious or gender or ethnic or racial identity. And so I just want to thank you, Board Member Broad, for taking that action and for your leadership in our community. It's really important and needs to be recognized.
Thank you.
Thanks. Board Member Flores.
No,
Oh,
sorry, that was just, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, that concludes the chair's report. Our next agenda item is our executive officer's report on unfair labor practices, elections, and complaints.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Hasid, members of the board. As you might see, I have this mic up to my face here, just to ensure that the interpreter and others can hear me. I have one administrative order to report on since our last meeting, and that's Lily's Green Garden, Inc., ALRB Admin Order 2023-05, issued May 17th, where the board ordered a grant of the regional director's request for leave to seek court order requiring compliance with the board's order in 48 ALRB number 3. Going on to pending matters, there's the Gerwin Farms involving a make-whole specification in 44 ALRB number 1. The ALJ decision issued in January 20th, and briefing was completed on March 24th of this year. And finally, while not technically in front of the board right now, it will be returning, is the Professional Technical Union Local 33 matter and Admin Order 2023-02P, designating it as presidential. Has the details there. That issued on March 30th, and the order was directed to the complaining party, licensee, challenged labor organization, and general counsel. This report, as well as other reports, can be found on the board's website under the meetings tab. Thank you. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? Okay, our next item is the litigation report, and we do not have a report today. So we'll go on to agenda item number 6, the General Counsel's report with General Counsel Julie Montgomery. Julie?
Good morning, Chair Hasid and members of the board. Nice to see everyone. I don't have a whole lot to report since our last meeting 2 weeks ago, but I do have a few outreach activities to highlight that the regional office staff have been conducting. They have presented at various locations throughout the state as usual, including a migrant preschool in Tulare County, or for parents of a preschool in Tulare County. They did an in-person training to the community-based organization La Luz Center in Sonoma County, and also a training to Líderes Campesinas in Soledad, and also Salinas and Greenfield committee members in Monterey County. Our staff has also been showing up and providing office hours on a regular basis at Poder Popular in the city of Santa Paula, which is in rural Ventura County, and also in CAUSE in Santa Maria in Santa Barbara County. We have been canvassing and distributing materials at the Hollister Migrant Housing Center in San Benito County, at the Migrant Health and Education Fair in Visalia, and also at a Mexican mobile consulate event in Oxnard and also in Santa Maria. Our staff is tabled at a resource fair hosted by the Center for Employment and Training in Salinas in Monterey County. In addition, we attended a Department of Human Services Farm Worker Resource meeting in Mecca, and I think that was a virtual meeting. And staff attended a task force meeting hosted by a farm worker advocacy group called Campo, which stands for Campesinos, and agencies mobilizing policy opportunities in the Central Valley. In addition, our staff did a radio interview on the program titled Líderes del Futuro, hosted by KBBF Radio 89.1 FM in Sonoma County. So they've been out there conducting outreach to our communities and providing information about the ALRB. So that's all I have to report this week, since it's been relatively short time since our last meeting, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Julie. Do any of my colleagues have any questions? Okay, great. We do not have an administrative services report today, so we'll go on to our legislative report with Chief Board Counsel Todd Ratchin. Todd?
Hi, good morning. There's not a lot to report on the legislative front since the last meeting a few weeks ago. There's a report on the website with further information. The one real update since the last meeting is Senate Bill 544, which contains Bagley-Keene open meeting amendments to allow for teleconferencing meetings after the temporary measures expire on July 1st, cleared the Senate and has been referred to the Assembly.
Great, thank you. Hopefully that makes it across the threshold. And that is a good reminder to note that while that bill is pending, the budget trailer bill that allow for the flexible requirements for Bagley, or kind of relaxed requirements, I should say, ends June 30th, and there's currently not a gap. So we will be changing our meeting practice in that regard, and I know our staff are working with board members to make sure we can continue to meet successfully and comply with those rules. So we'll see how that goes. Do we have a regulatory report today, Todd?
There's just one brief update that I'll note here is that our sort of omnibus procedural updating package, the 15-day comment period that we released a couple weeks ago closes today. So that's the only real update.
Okay.
Can I just add one thing? Yeah. Just for my fellow board members, at our next scheduled meeting, we're likely to be dealing with several regulation issues.
Okay.
So it's not this meeting, but it's going to be quite a bit next meeting.
Okay.
Barry, I can't, excuse me, Madam Chair, I don't think Board Member Florside could hear Member Broad.
Okay. So can you,
This one is not working,
oh, all right, well.
or at least it doesn't. Can you hear me now? Okay, live now. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Member Hall, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to say very briefly that at our next meeting, scheduled meeting, the regulation subcommittee will be presenting several items. So be prepared to consider a number of regulatory changes in the next meeting. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks to the subcommittee for your work on that. Look forward to hearing about it. Next, the board will be, we have the opportunity for public comment. If you will first go to the queue for those who have requested to make a comment. Even if you did not make a request prior to this opportunity, you can still make a public comment at this time. You can do so in one of several ways. You can indicate in the chat function. You can raise your hand in the Zoom app, or you can email Santiago Avila Gomez, and his email is at on the agenda located on ALRB's website, alrb.ca.gov. We'll do our best to get to you. Please note, if you are not speaking, please have your device on mute. We also ask that if you are with a particular organization, you provide your name and the organization for the public record. Please do not make substantive comments in the chat, only use that to coordinate logistics and a desire to speak. I'll now turn it over to Santiago. Do we have anyone in the public comment queue?
No one at this time.
Okay, we'll pause a moment to see if anyone wishes to make public comment. Okay, not seeing anyone, we will close the public comment period. The board will not be gaveling into closed session today. So we'll now go on to announcements. Our next scheduled meeting is June 14th. And note, we will also be having a special meeting the following week as well. And let me just confirm that date. That will be on the afternoon of Wednesday, June 21st, just to deal with some scheduling issues. And then we'll have another meeting on July 12th. Board Member Flores, did you wish to make a comment? Okay. And with that, this meeting of the Agricultural Labor Relations Board is now adjourned. Thank you.